we've reached this point, and as a surprise for the audience and Bruce and everybody else, I have a guest speaker. And my guest speaker is very successful and very smart, and not to say pretty good looking woman named Miss Sarah Rohr. So if I could invite Sarah down. And I have one slide at the end that I'm going to show, and then we'll be done. The podium is yours.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell them the Hawaii story really quick? Because he didn't get to say no to that.
Oh. Yeah. Well, yeah, a super quick sort of personal story with this young lady. We were at some meeting somewhere, and the topic came up that the CHS meeting was going to be, or charge, I forget, was going to be in Hawaii. And someone we know had always wanted to go to Hawaii. And so Greg Burke and I looked at Sarah and said, "Oh, you're going to really enjoy it." And she looked at us mournfully and said, "I'm not going." We immediately jumped on Bruce, immediately, and said, "She's not going. What are you, crazy? Come on. Are you a cheapskate? Greg and I will pitch in if we have to. You know, come on." And we berated him so much that he ended up taking our young friend to Hawaii that day. And that's how I became uncle from a different family, Russ. Please.
Thank you.
I'm going to get out of your way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Uncle Russ. I'm so glad that you got to tell that story, not because I had absolutely nothing to do with it, and I did not bring it up at the dinner. Uncle Russ did, but because it's one of those moments that says so much about who my dad is. It took the full collective force of my honorary uncles, Russ, Lou Culler, and Greg Burke, to outvote him, and that almost never happened. That story makes me smile every time, not just because it's funny, but because it shows how deeply people care about him and how fiercely they advocate for him. Well, me, just like he's always done for others. I feel very lucky to be speaking today. Many of you know me. I've either brought you cookies at Harborview when you were a resident or an intern, or handed you a name tag at one of our parties. But for those who I haven't met, my name is Sarah Rohr, RN, BSN, MSN, MBA, FNPC. I only tell you this because I've had a long-standing competition with my dad to see who can rack up more letters after their name. He is, of course, Bruce Psaty, BA, MA, MPH, MD, PhD. And I'll do the math for you. I have 15. He has 12. Luckily, he lets me count my certifications. Now, I know that most of you are here to honor Bruce Psaty, the scientist, the professor, the public health leader. With so many PubMed citations, I'm pretty sure he has his own section of the website, but I'm here to talk about my dad. Growing up, I didn't fully understand what he did. I just knew there were reporters calling the house and I wasn't allowed to answer the phone because he had stood up for something that wasn't right. He's done so much that honestly, I'm still not entirely clear on all of it. The million-mile flyer was always reading, always writing, but the person I saw every day wasn't chasing attention. He was chasing truth, and he was always there. When I was in Romeo and Juliet, we had 25 performances, and he made it to 24 and a half. And that half, he came straight from the airport just in time, I know, to hear me recite, "Now old desire doth in his deathbed lie, and young affection gapes to be his heir," as the chorus. He taught me to drive a stick shift, in a cemetery, no less. There you go. On long car rides, and come to think of it, short car rides too. We didn't just play two equations and two unknowns. We also played diagnose the patient. On Mondays, when he came home from clinic, he'd tell me about his patients. Well, they had their names a while ago, but eventually they didn't have names anymore. But about their symptoms and their stories. Hey, please don't stick your finger in that. We talked through what might be going on and what else could be true. I was very young at the time, and I didn't realize it then, but those little puzzles helped shape how I think as a clinician today. He was teaching me how to be curious, how to listen, how to reason, and how to care. He took a lot of trips when I was little, but he always brought back the best presents. My favorite were the hotel toiletries wrapped up in Kleenex and rubber bands, and I look forward to them every time. And there were postcards, which always came with really good surprises. Either this postcard is good for one game of Yahtzee, or my favorite, this postcard is good for one book. And before he left, usually before I even woke up, there is always a letter. "My dearest Sarah," with a comma after dearest. "I'm off on another trip." He kept writing those letters into college and beyond, and I still have every single one. Now, one of my favorite things is watching him be a grandpa. Hearing him read Charlotte's Web to my daughters with all the voices, of course, is magical. No matter how many times I've heard it, I still listen like it's the first time, because he reads it like it matters. As I got older, I began to see the professional side of him that many of you in this room know. When we toured colleges and high school, it felt like he had a connection at every single campus. And when I eventually chose a small state school near family, he connected me with an old friend who just happened to be the chancellor. In nursing school, I flipped to the cardiovascular section of my textbook, and there he was, cited. The same man who edited every paper I ever wrote was helping shape the science I was studying. Years later, when I found myself trying to understand the tangled web of FDA device clearance, he was right there with an article and a contact to help me understand it. And yes, he edited everything I wrote, patiently, thoroughly, and always with at least one comment about my excessive use of commas. Which is why I need to point out that this speech is the only paper I've ever written that he hasn't reviewed. He's hearing it when you do. And since it's being spoken out loud and he can't hand it back with blue pen or with words track changes or suggest more concise transitions, I've finally found a loophole in live delivery. I also inherited something else from him, my love for putting things on paper. To this day, I print everything out. Highlight, scribble, underline, rearrange. I need to see the work. And it started early. He paid me a penny per article to help him refile the reference papers he'd pulled for writing. We're not talking about a dozen pages. I sorted at least 100 and sometimes 200 articles at a time, carefully putting them back into numerical order in the filing cabinet after checking them in Opus. I was his very small, very proud librarian with a weekly paycheck that topped out at about 60 cents. At the time, I just thought it was something to do to make money, but looking back, I was really learning how to think. He was modeling a kind of care and discipline of respect for ideas and evidence. It wasn't just about filing papers, it was about honoring the work. And that practice stuck with me more than I could have known. There was another habit that shaped me more than I realized at the time, our Friday night dinners. From the time I was about 2, I remember, you can correct me, until I was in high school, we went every week with the same group of friends. And while I could usually convince Tom Capsule to get ice cream, my dad would bring up a moral dilemma, something complicated, messy, and talk it through with the group. He'd ask for my opinion, he'd ask questions, push perspectives, and invite disagreement. And at the time, I didn't fully understand the weight of those conversations, but now I see them for what they were, an education in listening ethics, and humility. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was trying to become a better leader. And without realizing it, he was teaching me how to become one too. And then there's how he lives, with integrity. We talk about integrity like it's a lofty virtue, but growing up, it wasn't abstract. It's just how he moves through the world. He told the truth even when it was hard. Yes. Yes. What's integrity?
Brief interlude.
Sorry, what is integrity? Integrity. Doing the right thing. Doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. She learned about that in Crouching Tigers at school. He did the right thing when no one was watching. That kind of quiet consistency changes people, and I know it changed me. I've seen it in how he mentors others. He doesn't speak like he's the smartest person in the room, even if he is. He listens first, asks thoughtful questions, and when he offers guidance, it's steady, generous, and grounded. You'll never hear him boast about what he's done, so I will. Just look at the awards he's received, especially those for mentoring and the Distinguished Scientist Award. I forgot to do the pictures. There's lots of them. And there are so many things about him that people don't know. He was a postman. He taught English in the prisons of Indiana. He edited all my papers for all my degrees. But more than that, he modeled what it means to be curious, humble, and human. You're coming up. And now as a grandfather, he's still creating ripples. When my daughter Emily participated in the Kids Heart Challenge, she was so proud to tell her friends that her grandpa had worked with the American Heart Association. And when the former AHA president, Donna Arnett, heard about it, she wrote Emily a letter encouraging her and telling her that she could one day be the AHA president too. Hold on. That's the kind of reach that he has, not just professional, but deeply personal. He makes people believe in themselves, whether they're a graduate student, a colleague, or an 8-year-old girl with a dream. So yes, his career has been extraordinary. Oh, yep. Savannah shows up. But if you ask me what his greatest achievement is, it's not the journals or the data or the policies he's helped shape. It's in the way he shows up for his family, for his friends, for the people he mentors, for the people he leads, and for the people who may never know his name, but are safer and healthier because of the work he's done. We are so proud of you. And while this room honors your professional legacy, I wanted to take a few minutes to honor you. The dad who never missed a performance or a 30-second race in a swim meet, 32 seconds, who corrected all my grammatical errors, who made me need another degree to beat all the letters behind my name, who plays every character in Charlotte's Web, and who made me believe that integrity, humor, and curiosity really can shape the world. Congratulations. We love you.